Let's
How about
talk
football?
about college football, man. Wow. I mean, before I say anything, the bottom line is that fucking, okay, I'm going to just shut the fuck. We got the national championship, okay? And it's going to be Florida State, which everybody knows, against Auburn. And I tell you what, the football gods, if they've been on any college football team side this year, it is definitely the Auburn Tigers. Because, and I say that, everybody, because I want to see Florida State win. And I simply want to see it just because I feel like, okay, you know what? The SEC has won the last 7 years in a row, and there'll be loads of people that love. And I think the SEC is the best conference. George will tell you that. I say it all the time. But I just want to see shit get mixed up all the time. That's why I wanted to see Ohio State lose, because or I wanted to see Missouri win. I like to see different teams in there getting it mixed up until we have the playoff next year. But
now, with everything mixed up, what Kevin's getting at is Florida State will be facing the Auburn Tigers for the national title. Florida State is currently an 8.5-point favorite. My only concern with that is, can the Florida State defense keep Auburn from scoring? Because we've watched the Florida State offense kind of sputter these last couple games. It took them a while to get rolling versus Duke. And look, Duke, if Duke can keep this up and turn that football program around, God bless them, because they have been nothing my entire life, and I am 33. So to think that their football program hasn't won dick in 33 years, good. I'm glad, good for them. But anyway, I just hope that Florida State doesn't rely on that defense to keep Auburn's offense at bay, because Auburn can move the ball in so many different ways. Oh my God. I think it's different than any offense they've seen all year. And now, I'm sure Florida State's got the backup kids to simulate that offense, but game speed and practice speed are not the same thing.
Yeah, that's going to be the question is Auburn's offense going to be able to move against Florida State's defense? I mean, and that's the big question. I mean, obviously the bookmakers think so, but I'm going to tell you something, and I'll get off subject just for a quick second, George, which I find very interesting. Okay, they said if the national championship was today, and I might not can argue this point. Right now, Alabama would be favored over Florida State and Auburn. And the reasoning is, obviously, with them being favored over to Auburn, even though Auburn beat them, is because they played in Auburn. And now they would be playing in a neutral site if they met in the national championship. And obviously, they never played Florida State. But this is what I find bizarre. If you think that Alabama would be favored over Florida State, right? If you're saying that, and Florida State is favored by 8 over Auburn, what would that make the spread of Alabama being over Auburn and they just got beat by Auburn?
I totally understand what you're saying, and I totally get it. And the only thing I think that would give Auburn the advantage is 30 days off and Nick Saban. And I don't think either one of those two teams, as good as Jimbo Fisher is, and as crazy as
Alabama the advantage.
I'm sorry?
You said Auburn. You mean who would give Alabama the advantage, you mean?
Yeah, I'm thinking Alabama with 30 days off and Nick Saban is an advantage that Auburn and Florida State don't have. I mean, as good as Gene Chizik is, I mean, he's had a great run. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's Nick Saban. And I don't even think with 30 days things are going to differ that much. I don't think he's going to game plan as well as Nick Saban is.
And I'm going to tell you what, if it's Gene Chizik, he won't, because Gene Chizik doesn't coach Auburn anymore.
I thought he did. Who's the coach for Auburn?
It's another guy. I don't even know fucking his name. But they got rid of Gene Chizik, which was bizarre to me. Literally last year or the year before, after Cam Newton split. They're like, bye, see ya. They got rid of him. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, never mind. I thought,
but whatever the case is, I know what you're saying. Nick Saban.
Gus Malzahn. Sorry, Jesus Christ. Yeah, Gus Malzahn. Because I remember just reading about how the guy got his contract re-upped. Right. Anyway, I think what the bookies are saying is if you give Nick Saban 30 days, he's going to beat any team in college football right now. And me personally, I'm not going to argue with that because I don't think there's a better coach in college football. I think his team was, and even though they're not that young, they were playing bad football at the end of the year. They were making stupid mistakes. They were making too many penalties, but we should focus on Auburn. And the problem, my biggest issue with Auburn is they can't stop anybody from scoring.
Well, this is the thing, though, and this is, as much as I want to see Florida State win this game, this is the thing that's very interesting, George, is that Florida State, what is their strength on offense?
The quarterback.
It's the quarterback and their passing game. They speed in their passing game and stuff like this, which allows them to score pretty quickly. I mean, you saw in the Duke game and for the ACC championship, they were only up by a little bit, and then by the third quarter, they were up by like fucking 42 points again. They can put points on the board pretty quickly, but the problem with doing that against a team like Auburn, you give the ball right back to Auburn. You know what I mean? And they go ahead.
No, and I was going to agree. I have a feeling I know where you're going. I think Auburn can go touchdown for touchdown with Florida State.
They could do that.
It's really going to come down to how the Florida State defense plays.
Yeah, and this is the thing that's fucked up. Say, for example, if Florida State's defense is really stiff, you know, and as much as I want to see them fucking win, but if they are playing them stiff and they only allow 3-4 yards to carry, you know, which nobody's been able to do with Auburn, but Auburn gets first downs and they create these drives where they're running and doing little slants and stuff, and all of a sudden they're consuming 5, 6, 7 minutes off the clock, and then the FSU's offense is a little bit fucking rusty, and they get out there and maybe do a 3-and-out or get one first down, do a 3-and-out, and now you've got Auburn with the ball back in their hand, able to run, and they have the type of offense where they can beat you up, tire your defense running, and chew up the clock. That could be tough for Florida State. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like Auburn's rushing offense is phenomenal. And if they can stop it, if Florida State can stop their rushing offense, that's the whole game. If they can stop that, then they'll win the game. Because they're not going to pass on Florida State. Those DBs are fucking nasty. But
I'm going to tell you what right now. I think Florida State can pass on them because this kid, Kelvin Benjamin, is nasty. That Bama is 6'5", 240 pounds, and he's a sophomore. And I'm going to tell you what, no one, in my opinion, in the NC2As right now would look better in Philadelphia green than that kid.
Oh, you mean for Florida State?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know Florida State can pass on Auburn all day, but I'm saying...
No, I wasn't... No. I was just saying, I think Florida... I'm not negating what you're saying. I'm just adding to it, saying that I think Florida... And that kid, Kelvin Benjamin, I want to see him in Philadelphia. Yeah,
because he looks like Sasquatch in fucking Seminoles colors. I mean, when he caught that ball and ran down the field on Duke, I was like, this dude is, like, crazy looking.
He's massive. He's huge, and he can run.
Now, George and I oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think as the bowls get set, I mean, obviously we're going to get to take a little break from college football now for, the next 20, 30 days. We won't be talking about the Buffalo Bowl and the Papa John's Bowl. I think once the BCS Bowls are set and all the teams are invited and all that jazz, we'll give you an update then. But until then, unfortunately, we're going to put our college football on ice.
We're going to and that's a good point because we have a lot of bowls to talk about, and we'll talk about it in the next coming weeks. Now,